The Dallas Cowboys just signed a pretty familiar face from Washington, Dante Fowler. The 31-year-old Edge signed a one-year, $8 million contract, breaking the Cowboys' record for being the longest team to sign a player over $6 million when they did that back in 2015. With Greg Hardy, Dante Fowler signs a one-year, $8 million contract, and I really like this move. And we can see through the film, he's not the most consistent run stopper. He was better this year with the run stopping ability. But similar to Micah, he can play the pass very well, getting 10.5 sacks this year and 1 interception. That was it just right there. On Twitter, X, whatever you call it, Twitter, I saw this tweet from Dante Fowler, and the tweet said, "The disrespect, I can't take it anymore." And I just said to myself, they're really cutting Dante Fowler. They're letting go of him after 11 sacks, 10.5, and being one of those key pieces for that Washington pass defense. They're letting go of him. They didn't exactly say it, the Washington staff, but you can tell from the tweet. He's been on so many teams. He's been like kind of a journeyman from Jaguars to Atlanta to Dallas to the Washington back to Dallas. So I was surprised just to see how that they're cutting him. And Dan Quinn is definitely pissed to see that Dante Fowler goes back to Dallas. One of the guys he was trying to bring to Washington when he was trying to make the whole Dallas defense come to Washington with him. And that was one of the players he really wanted. I feel like anywhere Dan Quinn went, that's where Dante Fowler was. Like Atlanta, Dallas, Washington. But now Dante Fowler's back alone in Dallas. So you can see that Dan Quinn's definitely annoyed about this. But the big reason why I think Dante Fowler had 10.5 sacks is because of Dan Quinn's scheme in Washington. He made sure to get to the quarterback. He boosted up the defensive line. And then he made sure that Dante Fowler was a big part of that reason. The scheme was a lot better than in Dallas. But the weird thing was, when Dan Quinn was the head coach for Washington, Dante Fowler had 10.5 sacks. But when Dan Quinn's a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, Fowler has 6 sacks. It's still impressive, but not 11.5 sacks. That 1 interception and the 2 forced fumbles he caused. All props to Joe Witt Jr. from Dallas going to Washington and making that happen for Dante Fowler. But it was also weird because he played the pass defense for the Cowboys, and Fowler had 6 sacks. So I guess it was just the interior defensive line for Washington. Maybe some of the other assistant coaches on that defense helped Fowler. Maybe it was I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe he wanted to make a name for himself after going from all these teams. There could be a lot of reasons why. But hey, I'm taking a 10.5 sacks guy any day of the week. And yes, he is 31 years old, but he played 55% of the snaps for Washington. And in those 55% of those snaps, he got 10.5 sacks. That's crazy. Imagine if he played 80% of the snaps. Imagine the numbers he would get then. So, yes, he is 31, like I said, but he's definitely still got some wheels. Didn't play much. It's like a car that never came out of the garage. It's still got the gas on it. It's still got the miles. Like Dante Fowler. I like this move. It's not going to be some Super Bowl, 10-time, no, that's too much, 5-time All-Pro. It's not going to be some crazy, Super Bowl kind of move like that. But, hey, it's a good move for depth. I wouldn't say depth. He's better than that. Come on, he was a Pro Bowler this year. I would call it more of a starting move. Someone to fill in for DeMarcus Lawrence. Someone who's going to get you those sacks. If you have Osa, Micah, and Dante Fowler like we did back in 2023, teams could not pass the ball on 3rd and long. They could not convert on 1st down. They're setting the pressure. Eberflus is not going to blitz as much, but he's going to find a way to use Dante Fowler. Teams could not pick up 1st downs on 3rd and 7 with Osa, Micah, and Dante Fowler 2 years ago. So they're trying to bring that back. Cowboys didn't have much pressure last year. They lacked pressure. And this is a move to get pressure on the quarterback. From what I've been seeing, I feel like the draft this year, I know you guys love when I talk about the draft. I feel like the draft this year is going to be more of an offensive-heavy draft. They're going to take some defense, but that's probably going to be with their 5 fifth-round picks this year, compilation picks. It's going to be more of an offensive-heavy draft, and that's something we haven't really seen that much with this Cowboys team in previous drafts. Like how they took Mozzie, Overshown, Junior, was it? It was Junior Fihoko. Yeah, I forgot about that guy. They took Nealand last year, Leah Fowl, Kalen Carson. A lot of defensive drafts lately. This is going to be their offensive draft. At least I hope. I don't want to get off topic, but I feel like 5 years ago, Cowboys got CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs in the second round. 2 absolute steals. And we were saying Will McClay. This guy's the best drafter. I trust this guy. He's going to make the right move. If Teddy McMillan's there at pick 12, I trust him. He's going to make that move. But now, I don't know if I can trust him. Passing on Nolan Smith, Brian Branch, 2 guys who I loved coming into the draft, to take Mozzie Smith, who looks like a bust. I don't know if I can trust him as much as I used to be able to. My one concern with Dante Fowler is his run defense, something that we still lack to this day over the past couple of years. But hey, he was more consistent in Washington with it. He was more consistent on his run defense. And now that he's on your Cowboys, and that you already own Washington, and that he's already played for Washington, I think you have an even better shot at beating them every year. Because Dante Fowler knows the scheme. He can be able to take down Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas. I don't know about Debo, because they just got him. That's going to be something we have to worry about. But with his size, speed, workhorse ability, Dante Fowler, I'm going to give it a B+ move. That's going to be it for today. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. And as always, go Cowboys.